in a small South African village, on July 18, 1918, a boy was born into the Thembu royal family. His name was Roli Halala, which, in his language, loosely meant troublemaker. Little did anyone know this name would one day seem prophetic. That boy was Nelson Mandela. His early life was simple and rural. But when his father died, 9-year-old Mandela was sent to live with a local chief. There he learned the traditions of leadership, the value of listening before speaking, and the principles that would later define him as a global icon. Mandela's journey into politics began at the University of Fort Hare, one of the few places for Black South Africans to get a higher education. After being expelled for participating in a student protest, he moved to Johannesburg. It was there, in the bustling city, that he experienced the brutal reality of racial injustice. Black South Africans were treated as second-class citizens, their lives restricted by unjust laws. In 1944, a determined Mandela joined the African National Congress, or ANC, and helped form its youth league. He believed a new, more aggressive generation was needed to challenge oppression. Inspired by leaders like Mahatma Gandhi, he initially championed non-violent resistance. But in 1948, the political climate grew even darker. The white minority government officially introduced apartheid, a cruel system of racial segregation designed to maintain white dominance. Basic human rights, including the right to vote, were stripped away from Black South Africans. Mandela rose as a leading figure, organizing protests, strikes, and acts of civil disobedience. In 1952, he helped lead the Defiance Campaign, encouraging people to peacefully break unjust laws. His activism led to multiple arrests and a ban from public gatherings. But he didn't stop. He co-founded South Africa's first black law firm, offering legal help to those who had no voice. A devastating turning point came in 1960. During the Sharpeville massacre, police opened fire on unarmed black protesters, killing 69 people. In response, the government banned the ANC and intensified its repression. It was then that Mandela reached a painful conclusion. Peaceful protest was no longer enough. In 1961, he co-founded Umkhonto we Sizwe, the armed wing of the ANC. Their mission was sabotage, targeting government infrastructure, not civilians, to force the government to the negotiating table. But in 1962, Mandela was arrested. During the now famous Rivonia trial, he faced charges of sabotage and delivered one of the most powerful speeches in history. He declared, "I have fought against white domination and I have fought against black domination. I have cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society. It is an ideal for which I am prepared to die." For these words and his actions, in 1964, he was sentenced to life in prison. Mandela would spend the next 27 years behind bars, most of them on the desolate Robben Island. He was forced into hard labor, allowed few visits, and his letters were heavily censored. His marriage collapsed, and he missed seeing his children grow up. Yet, prison did not break him. He studied law, taught fellow prisoners, and maintained an unbreakable self-discipline. He even learned Afrikaans, the language of his jailers. Believing that understanding your enemy is the first step toward peace. While he was locked away, his legacy grew. Mandela became a global symbol of resistance. Around the world, a chorus of voices from governments to activists to artists demanded his release. The pressure on the apartheid regime became immense. Finally, on February 11, 1990, the world watched as a 71-year-old Nelson Mandela walked free. After nearly 3 decades, he emerged from prison hand in hand with his wife. Many expected him to be filled with anger and a thirst for revenge. Instead, he called for peace and reconciliation. 4 years later, in 1994, South Africa held its first ever democratic election, where people of all races could vote. The result was historic. Nelson Mandela was elected the nation's first black president. He now faced the monumental task of uniting a country torn apart by hatred and fear. He chose forgiveness over retribution. He established the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, a groundbreaking initiative that allowed both victims and perpetrators of apartheid-era crimes to share their stories. Aiming for healing rather than punishment. In a powerful gesture of unity, he famously supported the national rugby team, a sport once seen as a symbol of white supremacy, helping to bridge the racial divide. After serving only 1 term, Mandela peacefully stepped down in 1999, proving that true leadership is about service, not power. He dedicated the rest of his life to promoting peace, education, and human rights worldwide. Nelson Mandela passed away on December 5, 2013, at the age of 95. His life is more than a political story. It is a profound lesson in moral strength. He taught the world that forgiveness can be more powerful than revenge, and that true leadership is measured not by force, but by humility and courage. From a prison cell to the presidency, Nelson Mandela's journey redefined what it means to be free. Could you forgive after 27 years in prison? Let us know your thoughts below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more incredible stories.